Without a coup, I would have never existed.
No.
At this point, most people were thinking, oh, Jack worked this hard only to lose the girl? But all that was in my head is, God, I hate time travel. Hello interwebs, I'm Eric and welcome to The Looney Turtle. So for those of you who aren't up to date, in the final episode of Samurai Jack, he gets Ashi to reassert herself and she's somehow able to control her powers. So they both return to the past and Jack is able to defeat Aku once and for all. To celebrate, all of his former teachers gather round for Jack's wedding, where Ashi tragically disappears. However, this shouldn't make sense because if Ashi doesn't exist, then Jack never had a window into the past, thus he couldn't have defeated Aku, making it so Ashi exists once again, and the cycle continues in a constant loop because the show left us on a big paradox. This is why you shouldn't mess with time. It's annoying.
Well, why did this moment bother you and not when they originally got through the portal?
Well, it did, but it was more excusable with that because Ashi was the one who time traveled, and thus, being the one who created the paradox, she would be able to survive it for reasons. Perhaps a new timeline was created and Aku's future still exists alongside the real timeline. Main point being that it's easier to dismiss them continuing to exist. I thought that they were going to go with this ending as it made for a more satisfying payoff. Samurai Jack was able to defeat evil and get the girl. But since they went with this, I'm going to try and figure out exactly how this makes sense. My first theory is the collapsing timeline. Basically, Samurai Jack starts out the same way. He gets sent to the future, Ashi helps him get back, and then, since Jack was able to defeat Aku, the timeline starts getting rewritten. Kinda like the fuse to a bomb. Everything starts changing up to however long Aku sent him into the future. However, since the future Jack was sent to changed, Aku isn't there to destroy the time portals, allowing him a window into the past. Then, it rewrites the 50 years leading up to Ashi's birth, and Ashi gets erased.
But how would Jack retain his memories? And how did they even prepare for this marriage?
It might be possible that time losing its effect on him allowed him to retain his memories. But at the same time, the show didn't exactly give us more than a week after the timeline changed, so it's possible that his memories conform to the new timeline, thus erasing the paradox. However, another possibility goes under the same logic of Dragon Ball Z's Cell Saga, where, my god, time got screwed up. Multiverse theory with two drastically different timelines. In the first timeline, Jack never gets back to the past and most of the show takes place in this one. We know that this is how things played out, primarily because Aku lays it out for us in the final episode. What happens when Ashi teleports them back into the past is that a second timeline is created, and it splits off soon after Jack heads to the future. In this timeline, Jack is able to defeat Aku, and life prospers. However, since Ashi doesn't belong in this timeline, she eventually fades away, and Jack stays because time has lost its effect on him. Ashi might end up getting teleported back to the original timeline, but it's more than likely that she faded from existence or is now sitting in a sort of limbo. Since the comics seem to end with an old Scotsman and the King Jack, there might be an alternate timeline that pertains to the events of the Guardian's time portal. Jack sets on a journey to find the 7 parts of the Rope of Eons, which is how Aku learned how to time travel. With it reassembled, Jack might be able to get to the past, defeat Aku, and the king we see in both the comics and the Guardian episode is able to win. Although the comics kinda leave on an ambiguous note as Jack faces off against evil and his legacy is remembered. So odds are that he passes away before he's ever able to get to the past, or multiverse theory once again. With all that said, I'm still disappointed with the ending of this show. I remember hearing that the creators wanted this ending to stay with us. Well, it's true that it will, but I don't think that it's going to be remembered in the same reasons that they were hoping. The fact that I even have to try and figure out how the ending makes sense shows a sense of bad writing, or at the very least, a lack of foresight. Either way, what do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, check out one of the videos on screen, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Oh, actually, I just realized I changed my end card, so it's probably not videos, it's one video and one link to my channel. You get the point.